Welcome to the Money Marketing Podcast. Today's episode is part of a special series with our sister publication, Mortgage Strategy, and is in association with Royal London. Royal London would like to get advisors and their clients thinking about the benefits of having wellbeing support services as part of a protection plan. Do listen out for all episodes in the series. Hello, I'm Katey Pigden, editor of Money Marketing. Welcome to our second Wellbeing podcast in association with Royal London. I'm joined by a couple of special guests today to talk a little bit more about the development with Helping Hand. Can I start by getting our guests to introduce themselves? Christina from Royal London, if you'd like to go first.
Sure. So Christina Rigby here. I'm a product owner for Royal London, and my remit is to deliver products and services that help build deeper relationships with our customers. And as a result of this, I have led the development of the new Helping Hand proposition from idea through to delivery.
Excellent, thank you. And we're also joined by Sally from PAI Health. Hi, Sally, all the way in from Canada.
Yes, hello, greetings from Vancouver, Canada. I'm Sally Powell, the Managing Director of Personal Activity Intelligence, or PAI Health, and we are a highly personalised, science-backed health score that measures the impact of physical activity on your heart. And we are able to give you a personal score to guide you to lead a longer and healthier life. So we have been working with Royal London for a couple of years now, and really delighted to partner up with such a progressive life insurer that's really dedicated to helping and enabling their customers to lead longer and healthier lives.
Excellent. Thank you both for joining us today. Christina, if we could start with you, obviously we'll do a little recap for anyone that maybe missed out. First episode in the series of what Helping Hand is and why Royal London is enhancing that at the moment.
Yeah, so we've had a value-added service proposition called Helping Hand for a number of years, but up until recently, we focused on giving people a helping hand to recover from a life shock. So a diagnosis of a critical condition, heart attack, stroke, or indeed to help our customers deal with a bereavement. But obviously times have really moved, and the pandemic has really brought attention to the fact that we really could do with giving our customers a helping hand to stay healthy. And it is because of that I was asked to look into what can we do to enable customers to prevent ill health, and what can we do if customers do start to experience some little niggles to stop them becoming big issues. So my kind of first port of call was to have a look at the reasons why a lot of our customers were claiming on our income protection plans. And the top reasons for claiming on income protection plans were musculoskeletal and mental health. And what we also wanted to do was to look at what kind of lifestyle choices are customers making that increase that propensity to maybe get long-term physical conditions such as cardiovascular disease, heart conditions, and things like that. And so when we looked at these two areas, what's causing people to fall out of work and what's causing people to basically be increased to the risk of non-communicable diseases, I looked for people out in the market like PAI Health that we could offer access to our customers to these support services to enable them to maybe make different choices or get access to these services. And certainly it was with a look at the preventative side of things that I became aware of PAI. And as Sally has just mentioned there, PAI do some excellent work in the space where they help customers to better understand the impact that just increasing your heart rate a little bit can have on your long-term health, and small changes that they can make to their lifestyle, little ways that they can change how they do exercise and how much exercise they do, that can help to reduce that sort of risk of cardiovascular disease.
Excellent. And Sally, you mentioned that obviously you've been working with Royal London for a couple of years. Do you want to go into a little bit more detail in terms of what PAI Health involves and how people can use that, how advisors can obviously tell their clients about it?
Sure, thank you. And to Christina's point, really, this is due diligence from Christina and her team to find those scientifically backed and proven technologies out there. And what I hope we can do is to help advisors and brokers to differentiate their services so they can add a lot of value to their existing relationships and also engage with potential clients from a very meaningful and helping way. And this is where I think we can help do that. So it's simply leading with the science. There are a ton of health scores out there. We're in January. It's the time of month where everyone's making health resolutions and health kicks. And as employees, a lot of people are being bombarded with all these apps, all these rings on those smartwatches and so on. What we do at PAI Health is really science-led. So our health score is backed by one of the world's largest health studies on exercise, on heart health. So we've been able to demonstrate that maintaining an average of 100 PAI or more is associated with adding, on average, 5 years to your life. And adding those 5 years, those are good years. You're healthy because you're reducing the risk of developing and dying of a cardiovascular disease by an average of 25%. Now, if we remember that heart disease is the number one preventable killer globally, it's highly preventable. And that's why we love partnering with Royal London so much, because they understand that prevention is key. It's about enabling, guiding, and nudging policyholders and customers on how to live longer and healthy, happier lives on their terms. But the way to differentiate is to be highly science-led. So I mentioned this is based on the world's largest study of heart health and exercise impact. So this is actually in Norway of 45,000 participants over 25 years. So it's also the longest study ever. We've now since done studies in China with 450,000, also with similar results. We've also done studies in the US with similar results. And this is all available online for the public to validate and check. And what's important there is that the PAI score is very inclusive. And that really resonates with Royal London as a brand. It's inclusive because as long as you have a human heart, you're a Homo sapien, the score works for everyone because we're taking the heart rate reading of an individual's resting heart rate and their maximum heart rate and prescribing them a completely personalized score of how they can reduce their risk of developing and dying from a cardiovascular disease. And all the person needs is a wearable. So there's a ton of brands out there, Fitbit, Apple, Amazfit. We now are able to take heart rate from earbuds as well. We're seeing it in smart textiles. So it's really allowing consumers to meet us where they're at. It's giving them a lot of choice, and we're giving something back immediately. We're giving them a personalized score to guide them.
And so they wouldn't have to get something specifically then to obviously use this and to get this health score. Like you said, they can use their existing technology or things that they're using already?
Yes. So they're wearables. Yeah, absolutely. So we are able to take the heart rate data from the most popular wearable brands. Right now, heart rate sensors are mainly on the wrist. And so as long as the customer is happy to give their consent to share their heart rate data, we're able to be in the background and generate this score through our app. So what we have with Royal London is that we've been able to provide the PAI Health app, which is available on the Play Store as well as the Apple Store. And we also have a dashboard analytics so that Royal London is able to make informed decisions on when to engage with customers at the right time to help them stay on the track and give them that nudge. So it really is, like the name, the helping hand. It's really much there to guide you and to encourage you to continue leading a healthy and happy life. And I need to share a very important point is that with the PAI score compared to steps, you can do any activity. So all activity counts as long as it raises your heart rate. Because not everyone has the time to get 10,000 steps, which has been the traditional goal on daily steps, 10,000. It's also not that inclusive because you need to have mobility to be able to walk, for example. So what we find with the PAI score, like swimming, if you do yoga, if you do stationary cycling, like spin, it really is far more inclusive of any activity that gets your heart rate up. Also, vigorous housework. It all counts. And we live in a day and age, particularly the pandemic, where most people are living and working at home. They have elders to take care of, children, and also themselves. So what we're finding is that to be able to give people more choice to do any activity that they're already doing and to make sense of it has made the engagement rate of our solution much higher.
Excellent. Obviously, you mentioned that we're in January, people start those New Year's resolutions, obviously all with good intentions, but potentially some of those might have dropped off by now and people aren't following whatever they set out to do. Christina, Sally mentioned that allows Royal London to sort of engage with the people using it and sort of maybe prompt them at the right time. How would that sort of come about if someone's trying to actually maintain that lifestyle and those changes and the things that the technology is showing that they should be doing?
Sure. So the way that we actually give access to PAI is we ask customers to complete a short health assessment. So the Helping Hand with the Wellbeing services is going to be, it's available to all new customers whose plans started after the 1st of January this year, 1st of January 2022. What happens is as soon as your plan hits the 30-day mark, we will issue an invitation out to you to take advantage of all these amazing new wellbeing services that we offer. In order to do that, the customer completes a short health assessment, which is really focused on the lifestyle choices. And at the end of the assessment, based on the answers, we then provide links to all our partners, PAI included. And the customer can basically click on the link that's provided, and that will take them to the whole process where the app will be available for them to download and use on their phone as and when they see fit. So the only way we'll need to kind of, in terms of the recording here, we don't really want to mention or ask customers to download from the Google or App Store. We want them to come through the assessment and then download the app through our assessment that we give them. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to track the data. But the data we then get from LiveSmart then enables us to really track how beneficial this difference in exercise, the different approach they take to exercise, has on their overall health. And I've actually used the PAI app quite extensively myself, because obviously due diligence, it's always good to try things out. And Sally's talked about the score. The app itself also gives you a comparison between your heart health age and your biological age. And for me, that score, combined with seeing that initially when I started on this, that my biological age was actually lower than my heart health age, was a bit scary. Right. So I was really keen to get my heart health age below my biological, or at least at my biological age. And that was a big incentive for me to start doing exercise a little bit differently. And I used the app to kind of track, what am I doing that's making my heart beat that little bit faster. And I had got into a bit of a rut of doing the same classes at the gym and doing steps, but only taking my dog out for a walk. So it was, the steps were counting, but I wasn't raising my heart rate. I was going for a bit of a dawdle. So it helped me. I changed my route. I put a playlist on. I sped up, and within about 6 months, I'd reduced my heart health age by about 8 years. So I was well below my biological age. So it really did help me and translate to me the impact that raising your heart rate has on your health, and I could really feel the benefits. But it was the PAI app that helped me to pull all that information together and understand what was making my heart go faster and what wasn't, because a lot of the classes in the gym that I was going to, I'd done for a long time, and I was now really used to them. So it wasn't really raising my heart rate. And that's why a partner like PAI, we thought was an absolute, brilliant addition to our well-being ecosystem, effectively, which is what we're creating, an ecosystem of partners who are at the top of their game, who had scientific data that backed up that what they said they could do, they actually could back that up with evidence.
So as a user, Christina, sorry, Sally.
Sorry, Kate. I was just going to add, Christina raises a really great point, because what Helping Hand has done now by building this ecosystem, which is essentially best of breed from different health techs, is that they've moved into the health navigation space. So before, the PAI Health app is just in the sea of other wellness apps on these app stores. What Helping Hand has created, which is a curated ecosystem of best of breed health techs that they've done due diligence, use themselves, as Christina kindly shared her story, and then through the questionnaire of the customer to take them through that health navigation, which is so important, because when you give something back to consumers in real time by answering simple questions about their preferences and where they are in their health, and you give them something back immediately, they then are emotionally more invested in understanding, what is my intention to change here? How is this information valuable to me? And I can see the reward, and I can start feeling the reward. And so really, this is where behavioral science is what makes people stick to their resolutions and their lifestyle changes. And so what Helping Hand has done is to really enhance the personalization and the health navigation aspect of what we're doing. And to that aspect, health techs like us are very grateful to progressive insurers, particularly life insurers like Royal London, to help us move the industry and the digital health solutions into that space.
Yeah, I was going to say, Christina, as a user of it, obviously, that personalized message then, for you, the motivation was, my heart age is showing as older than my biological age. So what was it getting you to shake up your routine? Does it tell you to go up and down the stairs a few times? What's it telling you? Obviously, I know that would be personal to you, but how does it encourage you to do those things and do something about it? And obviously to then see that change that you did.
So I mean, you're absolutely right, Katie. When I saw my age compared to my heart health age, it was like, whoa, time to do something about this. And what the app does is it gives you options. So it gives you that information, so you're well equipped to understand where you are, and are you okay with that? And if you're not, it gives you low, medium, and high kind of options in terms of exercise that you can do, and it's really simple exercises. It kind of takes account of where you start. So someone who's really not done a lot of exercise is going to get a different set of exercises to someone who's already running marathons. But this app actually helps people who are super fit as well, because it can help them improve, because these people tend to be really competitive with themselves anyway. But for me, it was simple things like walk up and down the stairs in your house for a few times, because walking up and down the stairs in your house, which is very doable, very accessible, is a simple way to get your heart rate pumping. And doing that a couple of times is actually, for me, was more beneficial than going out for a 30-minute walk, because my heart rate really wasn't going anywhere in a 30-minute walk. But if I walk up and down my stairs, even 3 or 4 times, my heart rate really started to increase. And I could do that within a few minutes and get that much more beneficial impact than taking a 30-minute walk outdoors. Also, I would say
people from going for a walk, obviously that's still very
not
good.
To discourage, absolutely, because going for a walk is really good for your mental health. Basically, so it's about balance, but it's about understanding that if the weather is really bad, or like at the moment, I always like to walk first thing in the morning. I got into a routine. It's too dark at the moment to go out at 7 o'clock. It's too icy. I live in Scotland. It's too icy. So what can I do instead? And I always do go out for a walk every day, because it's great to get that sunlight. It's great for my mental health to get a thinking space. But what can I do in addition to that I can do easily in the house, especially when it was through the pandemic and we didn't have the gyms and things open.
Yeah.
But what can I do? And it was just like put some music on and have a dance, or it was like walk up down your stairs, or if you were feeling fitter, do some star jumps, go out and do some skipping. It's things like that, and it did rank them for me in terms of, you want low impact, do this thing for 5 minutes. High impact, do this thing for 60 seconds. And it kind of, and it builds as it tracks your engagement with it. It builds and it changes the exercises to kind of suit with where your heart health is improving.
You mentioned a questionnaire that people will have to fill in, clients will have to use. Could that be off-putting in terms of, obviously they're applying for this protection product, whatever that may be? Do they think, oh, if I sort of, these are the answers they might want me to give on the questionnaire rather than what I'm actually doing? I know sometimes we're all a bit like, oh, did I have that much chocolate or that, or anything like that. So would there be anything that they would be penalised in any way, or is it's beneficial for them to be completely honest with this and they'll still get the help they need?
It's a great question, Katey. And what I can categorically say is any information that's put into the wellbeing assessment is completely separate and distinct, is not taken into account in terms of their terms and conditions that we've offered or any claims. This is just about us trying to keep people healthy and help them to make better informed decisions about their lifestyle choices. And the more open and honest you are on the assessment, the more information and the help and guidance you'll get to improve those choices. We do ask quite a lot of information on nutrition. You are what you eat, like it or not. And that has quite a big impact on your health and your score that will come out of that. And we also ask a lot about your exercise habits and a lot about your actual habits, your smoking and your drinking and your sleep. Because these, like it or not, are all the factors that actually do have an impact on your long-term health. And what we've found is we've kept the questionnaire as short as possible, but what we want to try and do is, as Sally alluded to earlier, it's that healthcare navigation. It's asking enough questions so that customers understand where their current key concerns actually are, and what they can do about them. And we have actually had feedback where people have looked at the scores and went, that can't possibly be right. I'm really healthy. And you probably are really healthy, but there are probably choices, especially with regards to exercise and nutrition, that if you just changed a little bit, you would significantly improve your long-term health prospects. And sometimes you know that you need to make those changes, but you don't necessarily want to. And suddenly being and having that in front of you in black and white, to say, well, actually, maybe you could do with doing this, can be quite a shock to people. But it's just reaffirmation that there are some changes that maybe if you made, and the assessment gives options on how to do this, and PAI gives options on how to do this in really small steps. It's not that we're asking you to make suddenly become someone who goes to the gym 5 times a week and goes and does all these high HIIT classes and things. It's about taking small steps towards a healthier long-term future, and doing that and being informed about the reasons behind that, and the choices that you're making that are having this kind of impact. So hopefully that helps answer that question.
No, absolutely. Thank you. And in terms of advisors and obviously how they can help get this message across to clients, I know protection can be a bit of a difficult thing. None of us really like talking about the worst case scenario and things happening. And when people buy a protection product, I guess usually they're not seeing anything. So with these services and tools and things that you've got, there is something that they can benefit from immediately, as Sally mentioned earlier. So how can advisors help get that message across and deal with their clients?
It's exactly how you've said it there. What we are doing is trying to add on services and support that customers can use and get value from as soon as they take out the protection. They're not just sitting waiting on something really bad happening in order to see some sort of value out of it. We all know how difficult it is to get access to GP services, for example, which is another thing that we've bolted on. But it's also getting access to reliable and credible medical help. And we have handpicked all of our partners based on their medical credentials. So again, it's about that navigation. As Sally said, there's a whole load of different apps and options that you've got out there. But we have, with our reinsurers, worked out which of these partners that we could go with have got solutions that are backed up with scientific data to say that they are actually effective and they know what they're doing, and there's medical professionals that sit behind these apps and things like that. And what hopefully advisors will be able to do is help customers to understand the value of protection by understanding that these services are available to them to use from day one, and that protection becomes about more than a payout, that protection becomes about something that helps customers to stay physically and financially resilient, because they'll stay fit and healthy, they can stay in work, they can pay their premiums, they can pay into their pension. So they become physically and financially resilient for the long term. And if anything does happen, obviously the protection provides that financial buffer, that big payout, should something critical happen.
Yeah. And before we end today, is there anything else, Sally, that you wanted to say that maybe you didn't get a chance to earlier, or Christina yourself as well?
Oh, thanks, Katey. I wanted to build on an excellent point that Christina just made at the end there in terms of resilience. So because of COVID, a lot of us have been quite out of control in terms of we're waiting around, there are all these restrictions and so on. And building up your health resilience is a really good way to give people the opportunity to get a sense of control about their future and health. And what we have seen in the statistics of people who've died from COVID is, for example, if you have an existing heart condition, or if you have diabetes, hypertension, your mortality rate, unfortunately dying of COVID, is like 2.5 if you have diabetes, and then 3.5 if you have high blood pressure. So it is really important to give people some choices and a sense of control to build up their health resilience. And to Christina's point of you're buying a protection product, but we're also inviting you to take back control of your health. So that can be very empowering and satisfying.
Yeah, I think that'll be something that, advisors can really sort of benefit from as well when they are trying to encourage people that they do need that protection, or, they've got this financial plan, but without that protection, sometimes it can all fall down. So if they've got that extra thing that they can sort of say to them of, this can improve your life sort of now, and you can make those changes and hopefully avoid the worst case scenario. But like you said, Christina, if they do need that payout, it is that buffer or something to help them or their family, or however that may be. Thank you both for joining. Christina, unless there's anything else that you wanted to add as one final thing of where they need to go or how they can access some of this material?
So probably just worth reiterating that this is available to new customers whose plan started after the 1st of January at the moment, but we are working extremely hard to extend that out to all our existing customers, and we hope to be able to give some timeframes around that pretty soon. But it is only available to new customers at the moment, but only for a short period of time.
Excellent. Well, thank you both very much for joining us, and hopefully lots of advisors will be explaining the benefits to their clients in the coming days, weeks, months as well, and those resolutions can carry on for more than just January.
Absolutely. Thank you, Katey. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Sally.
Stay well, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
If you're looking for more information on the PAI app and the other wellbeing services available from Royal London, go to advisor.royallondon.com/helping hand.